The Professional Women's Hockey League's inaugural season was a huge success. The 6-team league showcases some of the most elite players in the world, including the Boston team, who rode their talents all the way to the finals. I sat down with the GM and a few of the players to talk about their exciting first season and to see if their unbelievable athletic ability can translate to the pickleball court. All right, here on Outside the Fame today, I am very thrilled to say that I am with members of the PWHL Boston team. It's the first time I've ever done a women's episode, so this is very exciting for me. And we also have the general manager, Danielle, here. Just going to be a great show. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Megan, right away and say, just how special was it to be part of this inaugural season with the team?
It was really special to be a part of this inaugural season. It was, I think, a huge moment for women's hockey and women's sports in general. To see all that we were able to accomplish, I think records were broken each and every game, it felt like, and especially to be a part of this organization in a city where sports are such a big thing. The fans are so passionate. It was an honor to represent Boston, and we're excited for year two.
Jayme, what stuck out for you this season specifically, like what you noticed about the team and obviously the immediate success?
Yeah, the fan support was amazing. Every building that we were in was packed, and just seeing everybody come in with their signs and all the support that we received was amazing. And just being in Boston, like people say that Boston has the best fans in the world. It's an amazing sports city, so feeling the support from them was really cool.
Danielle, what do you attribute to the immediate success of this league? There have been other professional leagues before where these women have skated for a lot of other teams. What do you attribute to the PWHL being an immediate success?
Yeah, the investment from Mark and Kimber Walter, from Billie Jean King and Alana Kloss, the resources that were put into this league, the purpose of that was to create a sustainable league. There's a CBA that's built out for 8 years, and so I think the people who put this league together recognized the pieces that matter, that are going to allow this to be successful, and made sure to prioritize those things.
Erin, I'll go to you now. Talk about the culture or the characteristic of the team this year, that you guys, how you came together so immediately.
Yeah, I think the culture of our team is really special. I think from day one we felt like we were a family, and obviously it was going to take time to build that family, but I think our leadership group did a great job bringing us all together and getting to be together all year long and traveling and playing a lot of games. It was a long year. We had some adversity, but we came together, and I think that's something that we took a lot of pride in, was having a great team culture, and I think everyone really cared about each other, and we created a family.
Taylor, just going into that first time in the locker room with everybody, it wasn't like you were getting together with a bunch of strangers. You all knew each other from different aspects of life.
Yeah, we definitely, we knew a handful of girls, so that definitely made it easier. We've had a core group in Boston, and fortunately was able to stay there, so I've been training with Meg and Erin and some others for years. Used to skate with Hillary when I was in high school 10 years ago, so just to have the opportunity to play on a team with players of that caliber, and then you go into the Canadian team, the national team, you don't know a ton of those girls, but I think just from the moment we all walked in the locker room, like Erin just said, we were a family, and it didn't matter where we came from before. All that mattered is our common goal to have a great team and try to win a championship at the end of the year.
And how was it, Taylor, just to follow up, kind of like some of the women that you've known from other teams, you've played against them as well, how was it kind of coming together?
It was awesome. You play against other teams, and there's certain players on the other teams that you hate to play against, and lucky to have some of those girls on our team, so it was really awesome.
Are any of them here in this court with you?
I mean, Megan Keller, maybe in college.
We used to go at it quite a bit in
we
college.
have pictures of us going at it in college, but
we're great friends though now.
Yeah. Okay, that's so funny. I kind of love that when one time you were enemies, but now you're wearing the same jersey, right? Yeah. So it makes a big difference. I'll go to you, Sid, now. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Sid obviously just got drafted on June 10th. You weren't on the team last year, but what did you notice about this team while watching them?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to go to a couple games actually in Boston and just be in the atmosphere and see the passionate fans like these girls have been talking about, and how Boston fans really love sports, and just being in that environment is really inspiring and makes me want to be my best for them and come into this organization and just put it all out there for Boston and see them be so passionate every game was truly inspiring to be a part of.
When we come back on Outside the Fame, we'll look at the incredible finish to the PWHL's inaugural season. This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by the Boston Bruins, celebrating 100 years of Bruins hockey.
18 saves in her only start against Boston.
For a lot of us, we hadn't played a full season in a while, let alone train with the team all year. So I think it took a little bit getting used to and getting to know one another and finding out who we are as a team. And I think coming back from that international break when we had a stretch of every game mattered and we couldn't really lose any points. And I think that was sort of what got us going, and we wanted to extend our season and play for a championship at the end of it. And it was a lot of fun hockey in that stretch.
She scores!
It took that final push, winning 4 out of their last 5, to send Boston into the first ever PWHL playoffs. In the semifinals, Boston and Montreal went at it in a series that had the vibe of the Bruins-Canadiens rivalry. 2 games in Montreal and then 1 in Boston. All 3 games went to overtime, all 3 won by Boston. And no one was better than goalie Erin Frankel, who earned every bit of her nickname, the Green Monster.
I think we would all agree it was a really fun series to play in. I think we've all kind of touched on how our backs were up against the wall in our final stretch of the regular season. I think then we earned that playoff spot, and then we kind of were familiar with that feeling of having our backs up against the wall. So I think it was something that, we took and we just had fun with it. We knew that we obviously had to win a game in Montreal, and to get away with 2 wins in Montreal was incredible. And I think just the no-quit attitude that our team had, and I think we were just having fun. I can recall a lot of times in the locker room where we might have been in our 4th, 5th period of the game, but everyone was just kind of smiling, and it was really loose in the locker room, and I had a really good feeling.
Mueller cuts to center, pass save, rebound, she scores! Susanna Tapany, the overtime winner for the 2nd time in this series. Boston will play for the Walter Cup.
Taylor talked about the physicality that seemed to also boost during the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Boston in general, our whole season, we played pretty physical. So once we got to playoffs, I think we could handle it. Maybe we gave it out a little bit more than regular season, just because, like Erin said, backs against the wall. We're playing for a lot more. But I think it was such an important part of our game as our team. Being able to bump someone off the puck is huge, especially that it's allowed now. It makes things a lot easier, and a lot of us aren't used to it. Some of us were fortunate to grow up playing boys hockey, so we have a little bit of history and know how to take a hit. But I think the league as a whole, there's definitely an adjustment period, but we were able to use it for our advantage.
Boston took on Minnesota in the Walter Cup Finals, and the series had all the intensity that the PWHL fans have now come to expect. Down 2-1, Boston traveled to Minnesota for what could have been their final game. The game was scoreless until double overtime, where the season all but ended for Boston on this goal. But the celebration was premature as the goal was called back due to interference. It gave Boston the lifeline that they needed.
Mueller with a chance here for Boston, and she scores! Alina Mueller, the season-saving goal!
Unfortunately, Boston could not maintain that spirit in Game 5, losing to Minnesota 3-0, to end the most memorable first season in the PWHL.
Seals the deal!
Megan, and just kind of talk about the Walter Cup Finals. Now, it didn't Obviously, it didn't turn out the way you guys had hoped, but you had to be proud of a bunch of things, like the fans, and when they were yelling or chanting, "Thank you, Boston." I mean, that gave me chills. That was just incredible. And the fact that you pushed it to a deciding Game 5. Now, just talk about what happened at the end and how the team was responding to all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Game 4 was a huge win for our team, and we couldn't be more excited to bring a Game 5 back to Boston, not only for a chance at the Cup, but honestly to put on a game for our fans. They were incredible all year, and especially that last one, it was sold out. It was one of the loudest games that I've been a part of, and probably one of those games that I was most nervous for. So it was pretty special to have that Game 5 and have the opportunity to try and bring a Walter Cup home. Obviously came up short, and I think that's something that will stick with us, and we'll remember that going forward in the future to hopefully have another opportunity at it down the road here. I think that'll be in the back of our minds, but it was really special to come out and hear those fans, and even after the game was over and the cup was getting handed out, they were still cheering for us, cheering for Boston, so that was pretty special, and we're pretty lucky to have them behind us.
Stay with us on Outside the Fame. We'll have more with the PWHL Boston team. And later on, we'll move from the ice to the pickleball court.
Erin, what about getting out into the community or being role models? How are you guys handling that?
Yeah, we obviously have such an impact on little girls everywhere and little boys who are watching our league, and I think anytime that we can get out into the community and kind of show them what our brand of hockey is about and what kind of people that we strive to be, I think that's inspiring to the younger generations, and I think this year really showed all of us just how big of an impact that we can have. I can recall just small conversations with fans and younger girls that play the sport, and them just basically telling us how much we mean to them and how much they appreciate everything that we've done for the game. And I'm on the younger side, but I've been able to look up to so many older girls like Hillary Knight and Megan that have done so much for the game. So I think just now getting older and being a part of this league, I want to help and I want to do the same that they did for all of us.
Taylor, just kind of talk a little bit about what the off season looks like for you guys. You start up in November, so what happens now? Is the equipment in a closet now, or how does this work?
I'd imagine a lot of us would take a little bit of time off from skating. A lot of girls are back in the gym already. We're going to PT, getting our bodies right. Like we mentioned with the physicality, a lot of us are pretty banged up from the year, so taking the time to heal our bodies, sit at the beach, enjoy the nice weather now that season ends and it's summertime. So a little different, we're not used to that. Yeah, I think we have a lot of time to prepare and get ready for next season, which is awesome, and it's a little bit later than we're used to, so just trying to find the balance of when exactly is right to, start pushing it. But yeah, I think we'd all probably start skating pretty soon and just enjoying time with friends and family and the weather. So
Yeah, the weather, yeah. Danielle, there's a couple unknowns as far as next season goes. We don't know what the logo is going to be. We don't know what the name of the team is going to be. Are there any rumors? We're not exactly sure you're going to be back at Saugus, arena. Are there any rumors, or are there any hopes of what the team could be named or what the logo can look like? Or
The league is keeping that real tight.
It's under wraps. Okay.
Yeah,
you don't have any information.
I have no info, unfortunately. I wish I did. Not that I would share it out.
What? It's your station.
I love you,
This is your
Nesson. I love you,
station.
Nesson. But no, I unfortunately have no answers. But I'm very excited. I think I know that.
Is there any input on your part? Is everybody kind of get together? Like, who gets together and makes this decision?
I don't even know who it is who
makes
the decision, but I imagine it's the business team at the league level. They are working very closely with people who this is what they do and they know how to brand a team, and I'm confident that they'll come up with a great name and logo that represents Boston and women's hockey.
I mean, Boston Badasses sounds so good to me, but I don't think I have a say either, but it's okay.
We still have more to come on Outside the Fame. When we return, Danielle and I move over to the TD Garden to talk with Bruins CEO Charlie Jacobs and get his thoughts on the PWHL. Then look out, the Boston players trade in their skates for paddles and engage in a little friendly competition.
I'm honored to be joined by Charlie Jacobs, the CEO and ultimate governor of the Boston Bruins, and Danielle Marmer, the GM of the PWHL Boston team. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
And Charlie, through this episode, you are shining a light on the PWHL Boston team. Why did you feel it's so important?
Well, we are darn lucky to have a PWHL team here in Boston, being an Original Six city for the National Hockey League, and now also having an Original Six team for the Women's National Hockey League. It's really a treat, and it is, frankly, I think, our duty to put some awareness on what's happening in women's hockey.
You must be so proud also of Danielle, a little personal connection.
Absolutely, former
Bruins employee, and now look at her creating her own success as the team went to the finals as well.
I know, sadly, listen, I like to talk about hockey, and I try to explain that Boston is the hub of hockey, and Minnesota is the state of hockey, right? So we have this rivalry between Massachusetts and Minnesota, and it was only highlighted by this year's final.
Danielle, how did working for the Bruins organization prepare you to take this role of being the GM of the PWHL team?
Yeah, it was a critical experience for me. So much of what I'm trying to do, the culture that I'm trying to implement, and what I'm trying to build is directly related to what I learned being a Bruins and learning from Charlie and Cam Neely and Don Sweeney and the leadership here. So very fortunate to have had that experience.
And speaking of Don Sweeney, him and Bergeron have paid visits to the team. I know Bergeron helped you introduce the captains, and Sweeney came to a game or two. How did that impact a team, having those guys come and support?
To know that they care about women's hockey, they want to support what we're trying to accomplish, and they've done it at the highest level, and they're here to offer their support. It means everything, and it's not just those two. You know, I've spoken with the scouting staff, with the analytics department. They've been amazing, and I'm just so grateful for the relationships that I've cultivated, and they're wanting to help us achieve what hopefully one day what the Bruins have been able to achieve.
The Sports Business Journal called the PWHL League the Breakthrough League of the Year. And I'm sure you know that a lot of female sports are now growing all over the country, not just hockey, but what are your thoughts? You're a father of a daughter, like just how unbelievable women's sports teams are growing in popularity.
It is growing, and they need they need help. Everyone needs help. But my daughter, by the way, as you mentioned her, she used to play goal. Still plays goal.
There we go.
Goalies are wired differently, right?
Like kickers.
Right. Yes. But I will just mention as a quick anecdote. I was at the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame dinner this past year, and Brian Burke was inducted. And Brian is now head of the PA for the PWHL, the PWHL PA. And he spoke so eloquently about what is needed in terms of guidance for the players personnel, for the relationship with the league itself. And I feel like we've got a really growing groundswell of mentors and leaders and people helping build this league up. And it feels really good.
All right, Danielle, you seem to be the one with the most knowledge about pickleball. So if you can maybe give me a few tips on how I can kind of join the team and get going.
Not an expert by any means, but I have played a little bit. So you're gonna serve cross court. It has to bounce before they can hit it, and then it has to bounce again on your side before you can return it.
Okay, got it.
And then you want to get up to the net, but you want to stay out of the kitchen.
Okay.
And I've been watching Cammie, and her backhand is a little iffy.
Iffy?
So,
okay,
yeah.
Thanks for the advice. Of course, she's going to take it on me, Danielle, not you, but I got it. All right, I'm ready to go. Thank you. I think I'm going to need it because these girls are athletes.
Cammie Cronish and Taylor Winskowski paired up, taking on myself and Erin Frankel. And the girls' competitive nature kicked in right away.
Yes, Erin! Nice, Erin! You! No! Woo! You! Woo! I don't know why I ducked out of the way of that. See that? Good job. Dial it in here. Gotta dial it in. Yes! Spike it! Aaron!
It's a rare sight to see anything get by Aaron Frankel, so since I don't like to lose, I decided to make a little substitution, bringing in the team's most experienced pickleball player, my friend and the GM, Danielle Marmer.
All right, girls, I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to do this with you today. Thanks for all the tips on the pickleball, Marms, and thanks for helping me out with this. And congratulations and good luck next year. I'll be watching and keeping an eye on all of you.
I think after that comeback performance, you may be getting the call up from our GM. So here's
I'm drafted.
Here's a little gear.
Look at me, part of the team. Yay! Thanks, girls.
This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by the Boston Bruins, celebrating 100 years of Bruins hockey.